Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Kyle Clark. The near record heat is messing with back to school in northern Colorado. Poudre School District is going to release some students early on the first day.
As 9 News reporter Janelle Finch shows us, some parents are calling to delay the school year altogether.
The first day of school is tomorrow, and already some students are looking to an early start to the weekend. More than 40 schools in the district will be releasing their students 2 hours early Thursday and Friday. Almost as soon as kids will be lined up in front of school to head in for their first day, they'll be lined up to head out.
That is correct.
Poudre Schools says high heat is making it unsafe to hold a full day of classes, so majority of the district will be releasing students early.
I just think it's absurd.
Garen Dom may be dreading the start of classes more than his Lesher Middle School daughter.
Yes, absolutely. I want the rest of my summer back. That is true.
He says the district can't control the heat, but he says he's not surprised, and the district could have avoided a hot start to the school year.
Why not start after Labor Day? I mean, there are very few people that are like, oh, thank you. My kids go back to school in the middle of August. Thank you.
Over the last 3 school years, classes have started in mid-August. The district says the state's required number of minutes and days for students to be in school influences the start of the year. PSD also says shifting the calendar could impact high schoolers who are dual enrolled and taking college courses.
It's just nonsensical.
Dom says August won't get cooler, and neither will the district's buildings. He says the district's calendar needs to account for that.
This is an ongoing issue. This is not going to stop, and they're not suddenly going to have the money to retrofit all of these buildings in the district with air conditioning. It's just absurd. So that's really my point here. It's not about my kid. It's about all the kids.
And the heat isn't going anywhere anytime soon, so parents are wondering what's going to happen next week. The district says that it's keeping a close eye on the forecast and will alert parents if any changes are needed as soon as possible. In Fort Collins, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Well, we know it's awfully hot today, and it's going to be hot again tomorrow, Kathy. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, it's August in Colorado, absolutely. Today, 97 degrees in Denver, just missing the record of 99. I don't think anybody minded that. We've been dealing with smoke and haze from the wildfires burning across our state, which did add some color to the sky tonight at sunset, which was 7:57. And we'll see that again tomorrow, that smoke and haze, which is creating air quality issues for at least half of our state. Temperatures this hour, here it is 10:03, and we're still looking at temperatures in the 70s and 80s outside. We think tomorrow will be sort of the apex or the peak of the heat wave, and that means that temperatures will be back close to 100 degrees again. We're also monitoring the wind as fire managers are because of the elevated fire danger. Fire weather warnings, red flag warnings out for the Intermountain West, eastern Utah, and western Colorado. Low humidity, unusually warm weather, and the increase in wind has prompted these advisories, and some for unhealthy air as wildfire smoke continues to be a big issue for half the state of Colorado. And some of that wildfire smoke's making it here into Denver and the Front Range with little relief in the form of showers, even though I was tracking one little tiny storm that popped up a little bit earlier tonight. Overnight, temperatures are going to be really warm for sleeping in the 70s. Your weather headlines do include, though, a little bit of a break in the form of cooler weather and maybe some rain. I'll have those details coming up.
A fire burning near Croshow Lake more than doubled in size in northwest Colorado today. That fire is now estimated to be 1,700 acres. Started Monday in Rio Blanco County, spread east into Routt County, led to evacuations there. Firefighters haven't been able to get any containment. The big one up there is the Leaf Fire. It's now burned more than 123,000 acres. That's almost 200 square miles, about the size of the sprawling city of Colorado Springs.
Firefighters still don't have much containment, but they are able to keep it from crossing into Garfield County today. 9 News reporter Mark Salinger has more on the firefight from Meeker.
The Leaf Fire has now grown into the 5th largest wildfire in the history of this state, but before it grew to that size, started burning down this mountainside behind me, reaching just a couple of miles away from the town of Meeker. There are now more than 1,200 firefighters from across the country here, but before all that help arrived, the volunteer firefighters here in this small town were the ones who put up a fight and stopped this fire from spreading and burning more homes. There are only about 40 volunteer firefighters here, and on that night, everybody rushed in to try and help as much as they could. Between them, the sheriff's deputies, first responders, BLM firefighters as well, they held the fire line from spreading deeper into town and burning more homes. Now that that help has arrived, the town is even more thankful for those firefighters and those first responders that were the first to respond to this fire. There are signs everywhere in the town saying thank you firefighters, both the volunteer ones and now the full-time firefighters that have come in from across the country. We went deep into the burn scar yesterday with firefighters, and you could see exactly where firefighters held the line around homes, completely burned, scorched earth up until these homes, and then a small line that firefighters defended to try and save all of these houses. A truly remarkable job that only 5 homes have burned between the Elk Fire and the Lee Fire here in Rio Blanco County. For 9 News, I'm Mark Salinger in Meeker.
Tonight, Colorado's confirmed another case of the measles. Worst year for the measles in our state in recent memory.
9 News reporter Spencer Soysher joins us from Children's Hospital Colorado. And Spencer, health officials are warning there may have been an exposure there.
Yeah, the state health department says a child came through the emergency room here at Children's between 6:30 and 10:15 last night. That child is still hospitalized. Health officials say the child's from Adams County and was not vaccinated against measles. They say they traveled with their family to Chihuahua, Mexico, where there's an ongoing measles outbreak. This is now the 17th case thus far in Colorado this year. The overwhelming majority of those actually are with adults. This is the first case, though, for someone in Adams County. According to the state, Arapahoe County, Denver, and El Paso County have all seen at least 4 cases of measles this year. The biggest outbreak in Colorado was tied to a flight at DIA back in May. An out-of-state traveler who was infectious flew from Istanbul to Denver, resulting in 7 reported cases. And 7 of the 17 Coloradans who contracted measles were vaccinated with at least 1 dose of the MMR vaccine. Health officials say that's the best way to protect yourself. And if you were here at Children's last night in the emergency room area between those times we mentioned earlier, between about 6:30 and 10:15, you should keep an eye out for any symptoms. They can develop as late as 3 weeks after you're first exposed. Live in Aurora, Spencer Soysher, 9 News.
A small sheriff's office in southern Colorado is under investigation by the state attorney general's office. The district attorney, who covers Castilla County, told us she's had to drop 15 to 20 cases because she simply doesn't trust how the sheriff's office is handling evidence. She says they've lost evidence, they've provided incomplete body camera footage, and they've turned in late incident reports.
We've had to tell victims that, I'm sorry, we cannot prosecute your case because we're not getting the information we need from the sheriff's office.
At a county commissioners meeting last month, the undersheriff came right out and said they cannot pay enough to get and keep good deputies.
I hate to say it this way, but you get what you pay for. And when we're not able to pay some of these deputies to stay here, but good deputies, we get what we get.
County commissioners immediately approved more funding for a body camera system upgrade, funding for evidence labeling, and they approved overtime for deputies to finish their reports.
A man who used to be the Nuggets mascot, Rocky, is now suing the team. He's accusing them of violating a state anti-discrimination law when they fired him. Drake Solomon started playing Rocky in 2021 after his dad, Ken, the longtime Rocky, retired. A couple of years later, he says he was diagnosed with a condition that limits blood flow to his legs. He took some medical leave for an unsuccessful surgery in 2023. Then doctors told him he needed a double hip replacement. Solomon says when he told his bosses, they said they would hold open tryouts for the position. He says he returned to work 2 months early from the surgery, but the bosses still held those tryouts and let him go a few days later.
And my family love the Nuggets, always have loved the Nuggets, always been loyal to Nuggets, and it's been our whole life. They were like a second family to me. And so it is painful to go through with this, but it's about right and wrong.
The Nuggets would not comment on that lawsuit. Voters may get a say in Greeley's plan to build a $1 billion entertainment district that would include a new home for a minor league hockey team. It would be built between Highway 34 and Highway 257 on the city's west side and would create an 8,600-seat arena for the American Hockey League team currently playing in Loveland. The project would also add an indoor water park, housing, a hotel. The City Council approved a financing plan for the project in the spring. A group recently submitted a petition, though, to repeal that. The city says it did receive enough signatures. However, some people are challenging it. If it does go forward, the City Council faces a September 5th deadline to get it on the November ballot.
Arvada is going to once again shut off people's water if they don't pay their bill. That city, like many others, suspended shutoffs during the COVID-19 pandemic. Part of the argument was that people needed clean water to wash their hands to prevent the spread of COVID. Well, now it's years later and unpaid water bills are stacking up. The city says in November and December, more than 1,200 people were overdue. They owed collectively more than $625,000. So last month, City Council voted 6-1 to lift the shutoff suspension. They hope it'll encourage people to pay up.
The intention is noble, to avoid shutoffs, but using the lien process allows unpaid bills to accumulate versus catching them early when that balance is manageable, and also supported through the existing customer assistance programs that we have available.
Arvada's leaders have pointed out that surrounding cities that also suspended shutoffs during the pandemic have since brought them back. City says the shutoffs will now happen about 8 weeks after the initial bill goes out. They note they do have customer assistance programs like payment plans.
DIA has delayed a study on building a small nuclear reactor on site. This comes after pushback about the idea from a city council member who represents the area. Our partners at the Denver Gazette report Denver City Council member Stacy Gilmore said at a council meeting this week the airport removed the request, stating there had not been conversations between herself or the council and airport authorities about the idea. In a statement, the airport media team says the delay will allow DIA to give an overview of the proposal to the community in District 11 and beyond.